Well, hi everybody, old Gare out here at the Fishing Shack. Welcome to this week's Ozark Fishing Report, Fishing Chums Fishing Report. Ooh boy, how's my chummers out there? Golly, good to be with you. We have a dynamite show for you. A lot of reports, a lot of great photos to pass on to you. Big crappie are being caught here in the Ozarks. Had good reports of the bass fishing at Bull Shoals and Table Rock, and just a lot of stuff going on. I'm telling you, gee boy. Hey, I want to thank all of our viewers last week to start with. We had over 18,000 views last week. All you viewers, 18,000 of you. God bless you. Wow, that's awesome. You're my chummers. I'm telling you, you're my chummers. And we just have a good show for you today. A lot of good reports. So let's get with it. I'm telling you what, Beaver Lake looks good for the upcoming weekend. Boy, Beaver Lake is really blessed. That's a great lake because they're catching crappie, big crappie. They're picking up stripers and some hybrids and some whites and some walleye down below the dam, picking up some trout. Gosh, it's a good spot right now. In fact, look at our buddy Lance. He was out yesterday. Now, we taped this show on Thursday ahead of the Friday release, and so Lance would have been out yesterday, Wednesday. Look at this stringer of fish Lance caught. Boy, he is a crappie fisherman. My golly, that'll make us crappie fishermen drool. Those are some really nice fish. Now, Lance caught these in shallow water. We're going to be talking a little bit about this on today's program because some people are still catching crappie in the winter pattern, some deep fish. But the boys who are finding them shallow, just like Lance, are really picking up some quality fish. I know my buddy Jeff Deckard over at Stockton is catching them shallow as well. We'll be talking about this later. But Lance, good going. Man, those were nice fish. And he caught these in about 10 feet of water on a minnow rig. So check that out for the upcoming weekend. Also, Jim Epperson was out the other day, just a couple of days ago. Look at this nice walleye Jim hooked up with. Oh boy, the walleye are being caught in that Beaver Lake area, that's for sure. And I tell you what, they're picking up some nice walleye. In fact, my buddy Richard Lee Rusher was out a few days ago, 3 or 4 days ago. Look at this. Good guide. He picked up a 7-pound walleye. Good going, Richard Lee Rusher. And his buddy he had out picked up this nice striper as well. Look at this fish. Woo, boy. Man, that'll get your fishing fever up for sure. And this photo come in from the Fish On Guide Service. You bet. They're good people. And Richard Lee and all these people are great guides. Get out there and grab you a good guide out at Beaver. In fact, they're catching some nice stripers. And they've been picking up some hybrids and whites, as I said. Look at the Johnson family. Look at this photo. They were out just the other day as well. Now, this is a happy family. They stay together. They have a lot of fun together. They catch a lot of fish. The Johnson family, good going. So Beaver looks good for the upcoming weekend. Down below the dam, look at Troy Dalton, I should say. He was out the other day. Look at this nice, fun trout that he caught. Oh boy, good going, Troy Dalton. Good fish. Good going, young man. Good going. Okay, let's go out to Table Rock. That water temperature was 50 degrees. I don't know if I told you about Beaver. It was 51 out there. Finally got up over 50. God bless you. Boy, wow. And Table Rock was 50 degrees this morning. Sometimes earlier in the morning it may be 48 or 49, but it's creeping up to around 50 degrees or a little bit more. So that's good at Table Rock. I was out the other day. Hey, you bet. Went out there and thrown some crankbaits, some wiggleworts, some rock crawlers. Boy, I tell you what, Brandon, my buddy, he's back from spring break. He's back in God's country here in the Ozarks. And look at this fish that I picked up. Look at this. Wow. Very shallow water. Beautiful, beautiful bass. Good old, nice fish. I had a lot of fun with that. We caught several that day. So bass fishing has been good at Table Rock. Had good reports, some nice smallmouth being caught this week as well. And here's the different baits you want to use. You got a variety. You can get out and finesse jig around the docks, the jigs and pitching jigs. You can drag some jigs, football jigs, put some jigs back and around some of the brush. You can use the A-rig off some of the deep standing timber, pitch that out, let it drop, slow roll it. Also around some of the deeper docks as well. Some nice fish are being caught around the docks. And boy, they're catching some fish at Table Rock as well on the jerkbait. Ooh, don't overlook this. So Table Rock looks good for the upcoming weekend. Well, it's going to be a little cooler, a front coming in. It may be a little tougher, but you have to work for him. Look at George. He was out a couple of days ago. Look at this nice 4-pound spot. Oh, boy, that will get you going. That's for sure. And my buddy, my pilot buddy, Scott Pringle, was out the other day. And look at this 6-pound, 4-ounce bass that Scott caught. I think he was probably walleye fishing. I know that guy. He don't fish for greenfish very much, but that's a beautiful fish got. 6 pounds, 4 ounces. Don't want to cheat you there. That's for sure. And Matt Hyde was out the other day fishing up around Campbell Point, and he caught this nice bass. So there's good bass fishing going on at Table Rock right now. Oh boy, he even had some reports of Ned rigs too. Get out there and get with it. Okay, the crappie fishing is really getting good out at Table Rock. We had good reports. In fact, I was out the other day, and the crappie are starting to move. I tell you, Long Creek looks good, you bet. And had good reports up in the James River. Had reports of some halfway back in some of the creek areas around some of the standing timber and brush. We're on the bluffs around the standing timber, jigging minnows. Some people are just working minnows, but the crappie are coming on, and some around some of the docks too at Table Rock. And a few walleye are showing up, and a few white bass are showing up as well out at Table Rock up in the river and creek arms. Don't be surprised if you hit yourself a big old white bass or two or several. And once in a while they're picking up a walleye out there at Table Rock. Looks good. Okay, let's go out to Taneycomo. The water temperature was 47 degrees out there this morning. And they're generating some water at times when this happens. Of course, drift fishing is good. And there's still, I tell you, my number one bait would be the white power egg, the Berkeley white power egg. And because some shad coming through the turbines, and so you want to kind of match that shad color. We've had reports of pink and chartreuse as well, but I think white is the best overall. And some people are drifting minnows too, bouncing, just barely getting a weight and bouncing it off the bottom with a minnow up above that weight. They're picking up some trout this way, and we've had some reports of that pink power, Berkeley power trout worm, and with a float up above it. Experiment on that. So trout fishing can be real good out at Lake Taneycomo. Once again, 47 degrees out there this morning. Speaking of trout, hey, look at this young man. Zachary Lawrence was out at Bennett Springs the other day. Look at this beautiful fish. Wow, I like that. You know, the trout streams opened the other day, the first of the month, and there's been a lot of trout caught here in the Ozarks. So Zachary Lawrence, good going out at Bennett Springs. That's the way to go. Okay, let's go out to Shoals Lake. The water temperature finally got up around 50 degrees out there. Boy, the lake looks good. It's getting close to normal. It really looks good, the water clarity. I'm telling you, if the rain gods stay away from this year, Shoals is going to be one dynamite lake. It's really starting right now. A few walleye are being caught at Shoals. Crappie fishing has been a little slower, but they've been picking up some crappie. But the bass fishing is good. Brian Swirl, look what he was out the other day, and he picked up this nice smallmouth. Good going, buddy. Bass fishing continues to be pretty good for the old tough old boys going out there. They're using a variety of baits like Table Rock. They're using some A-rigs. They've been picking up some fish in deeper water around some of these A-rigs, around some of the bluffs and the big deeper points. And they've been picking up some fish on finesse jigs, and of course jerk baits. And we've had some reports of the Ned rig and some drop shots on a real clear day when the fish are not too active. You might have to get out deeper and try a drop shot. And lots of birds out there, the seagulls and the loons. I'm telling you, they can take you right to a nice school of fish. So Shoals looks good for the upcoming weekend despite the weather. Get out there and get bed at Shoals. Okay, let's go out to Stockton Lake. That water temperature was, I think, around 46 degrees out there this morning. And so it's creeping up there. In fact, Raymond and his son Wyatt was out the other day. He got up in the river there. Look at these white bass. Look at that young man. Is he a happy camper? He's a happy fisherman. Boy, he's going to be fishing with Dad forever. He's a fisherman now, that's for sure. Good going, guys. And Brandon Inman was out the other day, and he got into some white bass up in the creek arms and the river arms. The white bass are moving. And let's get to the crappie at Stockton. I'm telling you, it's kind of all over the place. Some people are still catching them deep. They may be 50, 60, 70 feet of water down around 15, 20 to 30 feet. Just experiment on your depth. That's still happening. Jigs, jigging minnows. Or they're catching some shallow water fish the last couple of weeks out there. My buddy Jeff Deckert. Look at this. Look at these photos. I'll run about 3 or 4 photos for you with Jeff. He's a guide out there, and he's really been getting his people into some fish, and they're catching them shallow. They're catching them 10 feet or maybe a little even less up on the flats. So don't overlook this. So if you don't find your deep water fish, don't be afraid, Jeff says, to go shallow. So anyway, Stockton looks good. Don't be afraid to try them deep or go to the crappie shallow. Sounds good for me for the upcoming week. Catch them some nice bass. A few walleye out there. They're working for them on jerk baits down on points and secondary points and down by the dams, but they are picking up a few nice walleye at Stockton, but you do have to work for them. That's going to get better. Pomme de Terre, water temperature was 47 degrees out at Pomme de Terre, and the crappie fishing continues to be good out there. Some people have found some shallow water fish. Other people are still fishing deep, 15, 20, 25. But they are picking up some nice crappie at Pomme de Terre. Seems like minnows a little bit better, or you want a good strong colored jig, like a 16th ounce, maybe a chartreuse body with a pink head is still catching some fish out there, jig fishing for crappie. And I understand the bass fishing's been pretty good at Pomme de Terre this week as well. Been picking up some fish on A-rigs, some jigs, and jerk baits. So some nice bass have been caught out at Pomme de Terre. Okay, let's go out to Truman. The water temperature was 46 degrees. Hey, look at this. Sean Blake, thumbs up, man. Look at this 2-pound crappie he caught a couple days ago out there. Sean's really been catching a lot of fish. He fishes not only Truman, but he catches some fish. He fishes Lake of the Ozarks as well. In fact, I'm going to sneak this one in. Sean and his wife was out last night fishing Lake of the Ozarks, fishing the current with a jig in about 15 feet of water. And he's been getting them. Look at this tub of fish that he caught. Boy, he's been catching fish all week out at Lake of the Ozarks and Truman. Getting back to Truman, look at Martin Griffin. My gosh, Martin was out the other day. Look at this table of crappie he caught. Wow, there's some nice crappie being caught at Truman. Now, some people, I tell you, a good area to be right now would be up in the Bucksaw area, back in some of the contributaries there. Yeah, I've had good reports there. And back up and halfway back in some of the creek arms. And don't go too deep. I'm telling you, 8, 10 feet of water. You experiment on your depth. Might go a little bit deeper, but they have caught shallow water fish out there. Minnows have been good, jigging minnows. And look, boy, look at that Martin Griffin. That is one table full of crappie out at Truman. They've been catching some nice fish out there. Nice fish. Good going, Martin. And Mr. Blake, you always catch him out there. God bless you. Keep going, boy. Have to go fishing one of these days. Okay, catfishing has been good. They've been picking up some fish on the flats, those blue cats, and a little bit shallow, 8, 10 feet of water. They may be down. You might want to bring that cut bait up around a foot or two off the bottom. So catfishing continues to be good at Truman. Okay, let's go out to Lake of the Ozarks, 47 degrees at Lake of the Ozarks. I already showed you those photos that Sean Blake, with those fish that he's been catching out there in the river area. And they've been picking up some nice fish out and some around some of the docks at Lake of the Ozarks and the brush piles at too. The people who go around finding the shad, you know, and get back into the coves, the mouth of the coves, get back around some of the points with brush on it. They're still catching crappie this way as well. And I want to show you the photo of the week right now. Hey, I tell you what, Michael Parker, he does got a little guide service out there, P&G guide service. He likes to catfish. He loves to crappie fish. He had his daughter Melissa out the other day. Look at this photo of the week. She hooked onto a 28-pound blue cat. Boy, that young lady, she wrestled him in, did a great job. So good going, Melissa. Boy, nice fish, 28-pounder. Photo of the week. Well, that's a lot of reports for you. I'm telling you, I'm rushing through this. Again, I've got the boat all warmed up here. I'm about ready to go jump in it and do some fishing. A little iffy weather this weekend, but I know we can tolerate it and get out and catch fish. These fish are moving. And I did want to say one other thing. I've about overstepped my boundaries here. Norfolk, the water temperature is 43 degrees out there this morning. Norfolk is partially in Missouri, mostly in Arkansas. It's a little further south. It's always a little warmer, 53 degrees on the surface. And if you want to go for some stripers, hybrids of white bass, get out on the flats at Norfolk. Use your electronics, find the big schools of shad, and get down there with some spoons, and you're going to catch some fish, I'm sure. And they're still catching some crappie out there, too, in the brush piles. So, all in all, that's a pretty good report. Hey, boy, we had some good fishing this week. Those big crappie. Gosh, Lance over at Beaver, man, those are beautiful, beautiful fish. They're catching some good ones at Stockton and Truman. Gosh, I'm telling you, it sounds good. By the way, we do have one other report of the white bass once again. Lots of white bass up the streams now, the creek arms and the river arms. And if there's no rain to muddy it up, you're going to catch fish there. I want to thank you, my chummers, for being with us. Once again, I want to thank the over 18,000 viewers, 18,000 of you last week. Keep spreading the word. And for you people over on YouTube, be sure to like and share. And on YouTube, subscribe. There you go, Kathy. Push that button, subscribe. We love to have new subscribers, new friends on Fishing Chums and Ozark Fishing Report. And on our people watching, thousands of people watch us on Facebook. Be sure to like and share and join our group. Join our Fishing Chums group. Boy, we have a lot of fun. People are sending photos in. We're having chats, talking about different things. So join our group. We really appreciate that. And if you'd like any other information you might want to send me and chat a little bit on the internet, well, you can get a hold of us, send some pictures if you wish, on Facebook, on our internet. I'm going fishing. On the internet at fishingchums@gmail.com. We have a lot of photos coming your way. Kathy and I have selected some great photos. We've got some good kid stuff coming your way here in a second. But I want to thank you guys very much for being with us today. God bless you. Get out and get bit. I hope to see you on the water next week. If not, I'll see you next week right here at this very same time. And Kathy, roll those photos. Good going, guys, gals.